Okay, welcome back to Daily Driven Alpha. Right, today we've finally got the limited slip diff rebuilt for the daily driver and put that back together after getting it back from diff lapping in Queensland. Right, some of the issues that we had. The crown and pinion gear set, they were significantly worn. The pinion itself, you can see the hard facing on it has been significantly damaged and is lifting off, and we're back into the soft metal. So that is not a good thing. The other thing you'll notice, this bearing here, the pinion bearing, which is supposed to be pressed on, as you can see, you can move it just by hand. That has been worn, and that has been causing a lot of slop in the rear end. So this pinion set is pretty buggered, right? This is a 10:4 or 10:41. You'll hear a lot of different ratios being spoken about. 10:43 is a rare one, and apparently that's a nice one for sort of fast road and track day. And then you've got 10:45 for racing, etc. But this 41 is the standard one on the road, and I found it pretty good out on the highway. Although you don't have as much torque away from the lights, etc. So you have to work your revs a little bit when you're just in the traffic. But other than that, all the bearings have been replaced, seals been replaced. These have been pretty worn, all these bearing sets. So it's got new carrier bearings in here. It's got new bearings in for the pinion as well. We replaced the oil seals in the shafts, and this internal gripper unit's also been worked on by the diff repairer. So this unit is going to be brand spanking new basically. Make sure that you use reputable tradespeople and workshops when you're getting stuff like this done. Don't get sucked into going into cheaper places. You're going to pay for it. I already wasted $1,500 2 years ago up on the Sunshine Coast here in Queensland, where I think the guys basically just put new coats of paint on everything and gave it back to me and charged me $1,500 for the privilege. Old school workshop that I went to, they give you all the parts back, they sit and explain to you what they've done. They've also provided me with some Australian oils, which are very good quality oils, slightly different to what I have been using in the diff. And this is a straight mineral oil, which is the Penrite 140 for limited slip diffs. It does say on the back of it that it has got an additive in for the limited slip for the slip plates inside there in the gripper unit. But I did contact the shop that did the work. They provided me with this Limslip additive to put in, and this quantity treats 2 litres of oil. These units don't take 2 litres of oil, they take about 1.5 litres max. I think it's 1.4. But they assured me, they said, put it in, you'll be better off for it, and so I'll go with the experts on that. What we have done is we have taken the opportunity while this was being rebuilt. Poor project car, sitting there not getting much love at the moment. But what we did was we rebuilt the diff and we dropped it in under the daily driver, which is the original 1600 diff, and took it for a drive and out on the highway and in traffic. The lower gearing is really nice away from the lights, but you get a bit of a hum sitting on the freeway. But it's been running really nicely. It's in great condition, and that was an unknown for us. So today we'll drop this out. And a couple of things just to note when you're dropping these diffs out. You need to, first of all, make sure that you get in under here and this flexible brake line. Now, what we do is we clamp it. I use some vice grips and a piece of rubber around here to protect the hose as much as possible. Clamp it as tightly as possible, and then we disconnect the 3-way union that sits up here. Sorry, it's probably a bit hard to see. And rather than try and unscrew all this, we actually take the union off and then we unscrew the brake lines from the union. and then let that hang down. It's a lot easier that way. Then you need to come back, you need to disconnect the hard line from the actual calipers themselves, right? Then you need to unscrew these two bolts here. Obviously the wheel needs to be off, and then the caliper itself comes away. Go follow your nose, undo, and drop the rebound straps with the trailing arms. Undo this bolt here, get your jack underneath here, take some pressure off, knock that out, unscrew the bottom nuts underneath your shock absorber. You only need to do the bottom ones, not the top. You can leave them in, and then just lower this down slowly. Your spring will fall out with the trailing arm as that goes. Now at that stage, when you're doing this, make sure that you've got your diff supported under here with a floor jack, or have it blocked up nicely, right? Because you'll need to maintain that. T-bar needs to get undone, right? You'll need to split these off and just disconnect your handbrake system. That's really easily done. These clevis pins, you just pull these split pins out. We'll be undoing these as well, and then just bolting it straight back on to the new diff. So once you've done all that, you can then just lower your diff down, pull it out, and bear in mind that with this you actually need to sort of move your diff sideways a couple of inches, and this is where it's good. If you've got it on a floor jack, you can actually use the wheels on the floor jack to drift your differential out sideways a little bit, and then you drop it down, bearing in mind that your wheels are off. And then once you do that, move it out of the way, and we'll need to pull this diff out onto the floor jack, and then follow the reverse procedure to put it in. One thing I will just say with these 2-litre limited slip diffs, these things are heavy. So do not try and pick this up by yourself. You will injure yourself. You need to have somebody help you to do that, and make sure that you've always got somebody on the other side, because if they do slip and move and you've got your hands in the way, you will end up with crushed fingers. So make sure you look after your safety while you're doing this job. So that's the job for us today. It's a bit of a grey old day today. We've had some rain here in Queensland, Australia. It's normally called the Sunshine State. This is winter for us. About 17 degrees centigrade. Really lovely, actually. We're used to normally operating in 25 to 35 degrees, but today nice and comfortable for working on a classic car. Where else would you want to be? Hope you've enjoyed that.